I was over at my friend's house a couple of months ago and he mentioned a sand plotting machine called Sisyphus, and I googled what it was. It's a metal ball plotting insane patterns onto sand. After all, it pretty much is just going to be a heavily modified 3D printer, and not to brag, but I'm pretty good at destroying 3D printers. So the idea is to take parts from a 3D printer and modify the table so that the metal sphere on top of the table can be moved by a large magnet on the bottom side of the table. So the main parts are the base, outer circle and brackets, inner circle, upper ring, then a piece of glass will be placed on top. The circle sections I cut with a laser cutter, and yeah, I got a laser cutter now and it's freaking awesome. Here are the parts that came out of the laser. Outer circle, inner circle, and just the base and upper ring I cut from this super cheap 9mm wood, but I stained it, so now it looks expensive. Here is the result of the top ring after being stained. You can't see that because the focus is on my face. I hope you can see the texture. It's really dark, oaky, very pleasant to watch. Now I have everything else under control pretty much. The RGB lights arrived. I can change the colors by using the controller. Now the problem I had was with the sides. They are going on one outer and one on the inner diameter. And the problem I have is I can't use the stain because they don't have the same kind of texture. You see, the texture on the large ring is very noticeable, but on the sides, the side panels, they are, well, you know, you can't use the stain. That's pretty much it. So I went out and I bought a fabric, and it's kind of like those cheap car seats. I tried the fabric but decided it looked hideous. Nope. Okay, time to get some work done. I added more brackets, painted the inner circle white, which did not snap when I put it in, so that's good. Continue to paint the base white, glue the LED lights and the top ring. And then it was time for plan B, which I think turned out far better than the fabric. I just need some few parts from this printer. All the parts for this build I salvaged from my old CR10S Pro. I knew the electronics and motors would have to be completely quiet. The end stops, the extrusions, everything, the motors, the power supply, everything is from the CR10S Pro. And again, the reason I chose this specific printer is because it utilizes the TMC drivers. The TMC drivers are quiet, so it hopefully won't make any noise. We'll see if that's true later though, as I have a sneaking suspicion the entire table will act as a speaker. These needs to be fastened. That's pretty much it. The mechanical structure is going to be very similar to a 3D printer with a gantry that supports movement in the X and Y axis. I swear I had the idea to straight up place a Delta printer upside down under the table. You just cut off the bottom and make the footprint larger. The CR10S Pro is a Cartesian, and you know, this just doesn't look as good. This is the main magnet with a 3D printed bracket, and it goes underneath the table. It takes every opportunity it gets to decapitate your hand. Whoa! This was my very first reaction, and maybe it's just my brain that shuts off whenever I see a magnet moving. The sand I began testing with, it was gravel in comparison to the ultra-fine sand I eventually ended up with. It sounded terrible, and it didn't even make decent patterns. So I got the mirror and even finer sand. At least now I was getting somewhere. I tried the fabric to reduce noise. Then I tried this fabric, and at this point I'm just questioning my life choices. Eventually I said heck with it and got a piece of glass and the finest sand that's basically dust, and it didn't work that time either. Ay, 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 Margarita. Whoever designed this, oh wait, never mind. A piece of foam on the magnet did all the difference. I know that's kind of cheating because we're not making a metal ball roll on top of sand. It's more like a magnet just plowing its way through. It doesn't sound as sophisticated, but I'm pretty happy about the noise level. Other than the fact that it sounds like R2-D2 at times, it's really not a lot of noise. But finally I got this working. It's been so many hours of just trying to get the magnet to run smoothly and not make a bunch of crushing noises as it's operating. Before I start making a bunch of time lapses, I wanted to show you all the colors you can choose from on the controller. This is white. I like white the most because it seems to improve the shadows. But we can have blue and green and red, and then you have a bunch of different colors that I don't think I'll ever use. These were some of the early time lapses I captured. It's actually a bit funny to think about how much work the machine is doing and then I'm telling it to remove it and start all over. A friend of mine let me borrow his 3-axis camera slider, and that really made the time lapses look a lot nicer. To deal with the problem of how to tell the printer exactly where to go, this website made it super easy. It even exports in G-code format, which is the language of 3D printers. So let's say I want to remove the previous pattern on the table. I would use something called a circle. Once you get to the more complicated patterns, it just kind of looks like a mess. A couple of other projects I've been working on is getting that huge motor to work. I've had some trouble getting the motor to run smoothly, but that's looking like it's working now. So now we just need something to make electric. Another project I've been working on is taking this electric skateboard and converting it, taking all its components and making electric powered skates. With the new laser cutter, I was also getting the itch of making a radio controlled airboat, but from wood. That's just a few projects you can be looking forward to. And that's going to be pretty much it for this video. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.